Hello and welcome to Cup of Tea Reviews. My name is Tim and I'm joined as always by Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me.
Tim, we're all looking to be entertained while we watch movies, but so many of them are duds.
That's right, Michael. We watch the movies that can go either way, good or bad, and we let you know if they're worth your while.
We waste our time so you don't have to.
That's right, Michael. And today's movie is Mistletoe Mixup.
And Tim, why did we watch Mistletoe Mixup?
Well, you guys, this is the holiday season. We decided to watch some of these Hallmark-style Christmas movies, and this one just happened to be on Netflix, and we chose it because of the fabulous creative team behind the scenes. That is, of course, the Lawrence brothers.
Who are famous for
Money Plane.
another classic podcast in our repertoire.
Yes, and Andrew Lawrence is the director of Money Plane. He directed this as well. He also has a small part. Joey Lawrence is the oldest brother, and he's in it as well as Matthew Lawrence. So,
And their mom.
And their mom. I forgot about the mom. The mom is also in the film. This is really a family production. But anyway, we decided... We loved Money Plane so much, so we should see what the rest of their movies look like. We went on a bit of a rabbit hole, watched 3 or 4 of their movies in the last couple of days. So get ready to go on a Lawrence Brothers deep dive into their filmography here this Christmas season. But we're going to start with Mistletoe Mix-Up, which is a 2021 Netflix Christmas movie starring Danielle Ryan as well as Joey and Matthew Lawrence. Michael, please give us your hot take.
Tim, this movie was not my cup of tea. In context of some of the other Lawrence Brother movies we watched, it certainly was the best, but it still was not good enough to cross that bar for me. So we'll talk about why, but in the end, didn't quite clear my 50% cup of tea bar. What about you?
This one did clear the 50% cup of tea bar, partly because this one is really, they're making some effort and they're trying some things, which I appreciate. They also make some very weird, baffling decisions that are very fun to riff over. Also, it's much better than the things that are coming, and we'll be talking about some of those movies in the coming weeks. Oh boy, this is just the tip of the iceberg for how bad it can get. In comparison, this one gets my cup of tea.
So Tim, what's it about?
A busy businesswoman with no time for romance or the holidays ends up meeting 2 great and hot guys on the same day. Hijinks ensue when it turns out her 2 suitors are actually highly competitive brothers.
Wow.
I know, I felt like that was a line delivery worthy of the Lawrence brothers.
Yeah. Don't even need to do a second take. Also like the Lawrence Brothers.
All right, Michael, where do you want to start with this one?
Let's start with what we like, Tim. Because I agree with you that you gave it your cup of tea, and I'm kind of in that zone too. It didn't quite get there for me, but there are things in this that are working, and like this movie was trying to be a movie, which I know sounds like a silly piece of analysis, but having seen some of the other Lawrence Brothers films, not all of them were trying very hard. This, though, you see there's some moments of effort. There's some things where it almost succeeds in being like a pretty generic Hallmark Christmas movie with some good heart to it, even with a contrived plot. Like, all those components, the puzzle pieces are on the table, and they almost get it right in assembling it, and that worked for me.
There's some moments that, like, they're really trying, they actually do succeed. There's a couple of scenes toward the end where they have some heart-to-hearts between the brothers and between the main character that really do work, and that they're actually trying, and the chemistry works, and those moments really do make up for some of the incompetent filmmaking on display. I do want to call out Danielle Ryan, who is the lead actress, and she does a good job. This isn't like going for an Oscar or anything, but she really carries the film well, and she does a really good job with what she's given to do. I also will call out that the Lawrence brothers have, well, obvious chemistry. They're real brothers, and that real brother chemistry really does play well, and those guys work well together, and I really liked that.
In addition to the things that work in the movie, there's also some fun things to riff over. I think for me, that's the thing I liked most about this movie is it's 82 minutes long, and there's some funny things that you can, kind of almost riff tracks your way through, which makes it an enjoyable viewing experience. The older brother, Joey, his suits are like 4 sizes too small. Like if he takes a deep breath, all the buttons are gonna pop. Like, what a weird choice. They have like baffling establishing shots of different cities and different seasons. Like, we're in a winter setting, and then there's establishing shot of summer.
Yeah,
and you're like, wait, why is that there? So there's some fun things to give a good time, that you can have a good time with. And in the end, the whole experience just wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, which is not high praise, but it's certainly some praise.
Yeah, no, this movie could have been a 0 effort. It wasn't, and I appreciate that they tried. And it's that combination of a decent pace, effort on display, that really like puts it over the edge and makes it a good, bad movie for me. There's also a really funny moment in the bowling alley scene in which the one brother interjects, and it got a genuine laugh from both of us. Now, let's shift to the bad, because there's a lot of bad on display here. This movie for the most part, is not good.
100%. And I think the thing that was the number one problem is that the movie shifts focus halfway through. So
Yeah.
we start out, we're really focused on Danielle Ryan's character. She's trying to find love, and, we're really sitting in her point of view. About halfway through the movie, they decide that the brothers are much more interesting, which
Yeah.
I get. Like, their brother is literally the director.
Yeah.
And so they shift away from Danielle Ryan's perspective into Joey and Matthew's, like, brother rivalry thing. And it doesn't work for a range of reasons, but the number one thing is, like, our main character is now sidelined.
Yeah.
And there's even some scenes where she acknowledges being sidelined. Like, she has lines of dialogue where she's like, I just feel like a shiny new toy that these two brothers are fighting over. And it's like, yeah, that is 100% what is happening. Are we going to do anything about that? No, we're still just going to shoot the movie in the exact same way. So some of that stuff just didn't really work for me, and it kind of pulled me out midway through when we made that shift.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That was definitely a big mistake. My biggest issue with the film, though, is that we've got two potential couples here. Danielle and Joey, and Danielle and Matthew. Danielle and Matthew have really good chemistry, and their scenes really do work together. Like, I believe them that they're falling for each other and that their chemistry is genuine. And then her and Joey have zero chemistry. And he's just kind of a...
Negative chemistry.
Negative chemistry. And he's just kind of a doofus, and there's, like, nothing there. There's no reason why she would ever be with this guy. So the main conflict of the story is, which one is she going to choose? And it's not a choice at all. Why would she ever choose Joey? They've got no chemistry. They have no potential there. Like, you don't have a movie if you don't buy that she could go with either one of these guys. Which is weird, because then later in the movie, Joey meets his consolation prize woman, who's played by his real life wife, and they have great chemistry. Those scenes really work. Again, some of these scenes really do work in this movie. But the problem is, you've based your entire movie around a romance that is not possible, because these two just feel like strangers. So, I don't know what are you doing? What is this movie even trying to do at that point?
From the moment when Joey gets to meet his actual wife, and the actress playing this character, I think Liz is her name, like, when he meets Liz, you're like, yep, this is the movie. Joey's with her, Matthew and Danielle characters, like, boom, we're done.
Yeah.
But then we still have, like, 40 minutes left of the movie, and it's like, okay, what is this?
Yeah, right.
And I think what's really hard about all of this, and why this is also difficult, is that none of these characters are really established. So all we have to go off of is these, like, on-screen energy moments, because all we have is people telling us character development about these people versus showing us. And we've complained about this before in movies, right? Show us character, don't just tell us character. So, they're always in this going, Joey's character he's a fastidious businessman who runs a family business. Really? I've never seen him run anything. And then Matthew, the middle brother, is like, he's a mixed media artist. Okay, what is that? We don't know. We never see it. We don't know what he does. And so we have very little to go on in terms of these characters, and all we have is, like, the energy that's on screen. And so that's what doesn't really work. And I think what's so head-scratching about all of this is the bad chemistry between Joey and Danielle, and then the good chemistry between Joey and Liz, was that intentional? Or is it just like a happy coincidence that happened? I don't know. And that's what's so perplexing about this movie, is there are multiple moments where you're like, either this was, like, really well thought out and there was some intentionality put in here, or it was a total happy accident, and I honestly cannot tell. And that's, like, what makes me trip so many times in this movie.
Absolutely. Michael, when would you recommend the film, and would you recommend the film?
I would not recommend this as something that you should go watch as, like, a good Hallmark Christmas movie. There are far better of those out there. I think if you're looking for something to riff over, though, you're looking for a lightweight, it's 80 minutes long, you got your friends, maybe you're having a couple cocktails, and you're like, hey, like, let's watch a Christmas movie, let's have a good time with it, let's kind of talk over it a bit. I think this fits that bill 100%. And it's because of what you said at the start, which is there were some moments that they tried. And that's what makes this actually very fun to riff over, is you can see they're, like, putting in some effort. It's just not working at all, and that's what's very funny about it. So I recommend it in that context. What about you?
Yeah, exact same. I recommend it if you're looking for a cheesy Hallmark movie that you can riff over, that's not going to be too strenuous, too stressful, too anything. It's just going to be a fine 82 minutes, and it's going to give you some opportunities to make some jokes and to riff over it. If that's what you're looking for, this works just fine. But yeah, there's not a lot here to recommend outside of that.
Thank you all for watching. Join us next time on Cup of Tea Reviews.